Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to crochet our cobblestone beanie. The yarn that I'm using is Mary Maxim Starlette Ragg, and I'll be working with the gray rag in this tutorial. Starlette Ragg includes 4 colors, so we have the denim, the brown, the black, and the gray, but you can also choose from any of the Starlette line if you want to substitute the yarn. So there's a nice array of solid colors and even sparkle that you can choose from. So don't feel like you have to stick with the marled yarn. You can choose to go with a solid colored yarn as well, and there are lots of colors to choose from. This hat does coordinate with our everyday rag woman's cardigan and our men's cobblestone cardigan. So if you're looking to crochet a set, I will link the cardigan patterns in the description box below the video. The pattern includes baby to adult men's sizes, and I'll be working on the toddler size in today's tutorial. You'll need 2 crochet hook sizes. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter and a 6 millimeter, and these are Streamline Gold hooks from Furls Crochet. And I will have the links for the yarn as well as the hooks in the description box. The hat pattern is worked from the top down, and this is a very beginner friendly pattern. I'm working in half double crochets throughout, and the band will be worked in single crochets in the back loop only. So we're going to get started with the 6 millimeter hook. I'm going to make a magic ring. So I have 3 loops on my index finger. I'm going to take the hook and slide it through all 3 loops, grabbing the first loop and pulling it through, and I'm going to chain 1. Now for the toddler size, we'll begin with 10 half double crochets in the ring. So to work a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, we're going through the loop, pulling up a loop so that you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So yarn over, go through, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And if you look at your stitches, you can see the top of the stitch right here. So that's stitch 1, stitch 2, stitch 3, and you're going to want to work 10. So I now have 10 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to take your work, just push it out of the way so you can see these 2 loops right here. Now we're going to take our tail, we're going to pull it. You're going to see this loop has started to pull in. This one's still puffing out. If you take that loop that's tugged in, give it a tug, it's going to pull your other loop tight. Then you can just take your tail, you can pull it. And this is going to have a nice tight start to the top of your hat, okay? It's not going to come loose. We can weave this tail back in the opposite direction at the end and trim it. And now to join, we're going to slip stitch in the top of the stitch. So we're going under the 2 loops. We're going to pull the yarn through and pull it through the loop on our hook. So we've now joined our circle. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work. By turning our work, you can see that we're going to end up with this sort of ridged look to our rounds. When you work in the round with half double crochet, it also tends to, your join line can always shift and go diagonal across the hat. So by turning it, it's going to keep this join line straight, and it blends in really nicely with this hat. So I've turned my work. I'm then going to work 2 half double crochets into every stitch around. So going in the first stitch, we'll work 1, and then we'll work 2 half doubles. And I do apologize that I am slightly losing my voice, but I'll do my best to get through this video. So you're going to do 2 in every stitch. Okay, so I've worked around 2 in every stitch for a total of 20 stitches. Now we're going to slip stitch in the first half double to join under those 2 loops. If you need to count back your stitches to make sure you're slip stitching into the right stitch, go ahead and do that. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn again. So we went from 10 to 20 and now we're going to increase up to 30 stitches. So I'm going to work a half double crochet in the first stitch and then 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. So this will be our repeat pattern around. So 1 half double in the next, 2 half doubles in the next, and repeat that all the way around. Okay, so I'm working around, I'm finishing with 2 half double crochets in the last stitch, and I have a total of 30 stitches now. I'm going to slip stitch in the top of our first half double to join, chain 1, turn, and then I'm going to work just 1 in every stitch around for a total of 30. So I've worked around 30. I'm going to slip stitch in the first half double to join, chain 1 and turn. And now I'm going to do another increase. So I'm going to work 1 half double in the first 2 stitches and then 2 half doubles in the next. 1 half double in the next 2 and then 2 half doubles in the next. And repeat this pattern around. We're going to increase to 40 stitches. Okay, so I've worked around. I'm going to slip stitch in the first stitch. So we have a total of 40 stitches. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And I'm going to work 1 half double in every stitch around for a total of 40. Okay, so I've worked all the way around 40 stitches. We're going to slip stitch in the first half double to join, chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to do another increase. This will be our final increase for this size. I'm going to work 1 half double crochet in our first 3 stitches and then 2 half double crochets in the next. So 1 half double in each of the next 3 stitches. And then 2 in the next. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this all the way around, increasing to 50 stitches. Okay, so I finished working 2 in the last stitch. We're going to slip stitch in our first half double to join, chain 1, turn. And now we're going to work 1 half double crochet in every stitch around for a total of 50. Okay, so I've worked around 50. I'm going to slip stitch to join. And let's just take a count of how many rounds we have now. So because one round puffs up more than the other, it's really easy to count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've worked up to 8. Now what we're going to do is work up to a total of 14, working at 50 stitches. So we're just going to keep repeating this round 8. So we're going to turn, and then we're going to work 1 half double in every stitch around so that we have a total of 14 rounds. Once you have your 14, I'll meet you back up again and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I've worked a total of 14 rounds. So you can see the rounds that puff up are going by 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm back to my right side and I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So this will be our 15th round and we're just working single crochets. So this will be the base row for working our join as you go band, which will be a fold over style. So to do our single crochet, we're going through the stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pulling through 2. So I'm going to work around 50 and I'll meet you up at the join. So I've worked around 50. I'm going to slip stitch in our first single crochet to join. Then I'm going to change to our smaller hook. So the 5.5 millimeter. Now what we're going to do is chain out what will be the the length of the band. So for the toddler size, I want a total of 14 stitches. So I'm going to chain out 1 extra. So I'll chain 15. So once you have your 15 chains, we're going to work single crochets down the chain. We're going to go into the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2. So work down that chain with 1 single crochet per chain, so that we have a total of 14 single crochet stitches. Okay, so I've worked down 14. I've single crocheted in the last chain, and then you can see the first stitch that we slip stitched into right here. We're going to skip this stitch. This row that we've just worked is actually accounted for this stitch because we're going to work the same number of rows as we have stitches around the base of the hat. So we want to work 50 rows in total. So what we're going to do is now we can see that there's a slip stitch here for the first stitch. We're going to now slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. So go through, slip stitch, go through, you pull up a loop, pulling it right through the loop on your hook. So I've now worked 2 slip stitches. I'm going to turn, get my work to the back, the working yarn. We skip over the 2 slip stitches we just made, and then we're working through the single crochet stitch row. So we're going to go through the back loop only and work a single crochet. Single crochet through the back loop only. Now I always like to count as I do this so that I don't miss a stitch. So I've done 2, 3, 4, 'So there's 13 and 14. We're going to chain 1, turn, then we'll work back down the row in single crochets in the back loop. So for the entire band, we'll do them all single crochets in the back loop only. And it gives us this nice ribbed look. And the fold over gives it's going to be nice and warm and cozy. It also gives you a little flexibility with the height of the hat when you have the extra fold over. So you can fold it over more if you want the hat more snug on your head, or you can leave it a little bit looser, a little bit slouchier. Gives you a little bit of flexibility there. So I've worked down 14, and you can see this is the last chain. Now also, if you look at your work really closely, you can see this stitch has a slip stitch in it. This stitch doesn't. So we know we're not going to go back into this stitch. We need to go back, we need to go into the next two. So slip stitch the next two. And then work 2 more rows, and we're going to continue in this way all the way around the hat. So we skip over the 2 slip stitches, go up to the row, and work single crochets through the back loop. So I'm going to continue to work the band around the hat, and once I get it to the last row, I'm going to meet you up and I'll show you how to slip stitch it together. Okay, so as you come around, you should be ending with 1 final stitch to slip stitch into. So we're going to skip the 1 slip stitch, and then we'll work back up, ending at the top of this row. So now we'll chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch the band together. So we're going to go through the back loop, come over to the starting chain, and work a slip stitch. So you're going to work that down through every stitch. Okay, so I've worked 14 slip stitches. We're going to fasten this off. So now when you fold, your seam will be to the inside. I'm going to weave in this tail, and we can also weave in that starting tail as well. So when I'm weaving, I like to just go through part of the stitches, make sure it's not popping through onto the other side. You're going to weave one way, and then you can go back in the opposite direction to secure your tail. And the starting tail, I'm going to weave it back in the opposite direction. So I like to leave the seam to the back of the hat. And then we can do some finishing touches. So I'm going to add a tag and also a pom-pom to the top of the hat. So I have 2 sizes of tags. I may use this smaller one on my baby size hat. I think this one will still look okay to add it. the larger one to this hat. So what I'm going to do is use some embroidery thread. I usually like to pick a brown or a similar color, but it's up to you what you want to use. I just use my yarn needle. Then you can just estimate how much thread you're going to need to sew around. So I like to start to the back and come up through the corner hole on the tag. Then you're just going to weave through. So you're going to go through the next hole, push through. You're going to come up if you're able to get it right through the hole. If not, you can just push through and then go up through the hole. So I'm going to work this all the way around the tag. Okay, so I've worked it all the way around. I'm going to just trim this now, and I'm going to knot this to the back. So I purchase my tags from brickbubble.ca if you're interested in getting tags made. So now you can leave your hat without adding a pom-pom. It looks really cute without. You can get different size pom-poms. I purchased these. These are the natural faux fur from Amazon. They do have a snap style. And these are the 5-inch, but you can also get a 4.3, which is a little bit smaller for your baby size hats. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the snap and we're going to sew it to the top of the hat. Now, I do need to use a small needle to get through these holes. So if you have a needle that will go through and you can use your yarn to sew it on, then you can go ahead and do that. This needle is a little bit hard to get yarn through, so I'm just going to use the embroidery thread to pop that through. And I'm going to sew on the snap to the top. Now there are different styles you can get. So you can also get pom-poms that have elastic bands and a button. So the button can be put to the inside of the hat, and that's a nice option if you want the hat to be worn sometimes without the pom-pom. Then you can remove the pom-pom and you don't see anything on the top of the hat. Whereas these ones, you really need to keep your pom-pom on, but you can remove the pom-pom for washing the hat. So I just go all the way around with it, and then you can knot your tails. Just make sure it's nice and tight. And I just like to weave it to the inside of the hat, and then I'll trim these tails. So the faux fur pom-poms look really nice if you give them a blow dry. So I'm going to snap it on, and then I'm gonna go blow dry it just to fluff it up. You can see how nice and fluffy it looks once you give it a blow dry. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy crochet hat pattern. Make sure to check the description box below the video for the link to the pattern and the supplies. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.